Angels are constantly watching over you and recognize that this is a turning point for you. A big, positive shift is coming in your finances, relationships, career and health. Affirm yes. My dear child, I believe you should realize that you are rarely alone. Heavenly messengers are continually looking after you, directing you through each step of your excursion. They perceive that this is a defining moment for you, where astounding things are going to unfurl. The Master Jesus has a heavenly arrangement for your life, and it remembers overflow for your funds, connections, vocation, and well-being. Indeed, old buddy, this large number of regions will encounter a major positive shift. Could you at any point feel the fervor developing? Allow me to help you to remember a lovely section from the book of Scriptures, Jeremiah 29:11. According to it, for I know the plans I have for you, proclaims the Master, plans to flourish you and not to hurt you, plans to give you trust and a future. Isn't so fantastic? God has previously spread out a way loaded up with gifts only for you. Presently, it's memorables essential that these gifts will not supernaturally show up for the time being. It requires confidence, steadiness, and a resolute faith in God's commitments. In any case, trust me when I say that the prizes will be worth the effort. In your funds, set yourself up for a flood of overflow. The entryways of chance will open up as God gives new roads to monetary development and steadiness. Express farewell to monetary concerns and hi to independence from the rat race. With regards to connections, prepare to encounter further associations with your friends and family. God will retouch broken bonds, bring new kinships into your life, and reinforce the affection that as of now exists. Your connections will be overflowing with euphoria, understanding, and backing. In your profession, be ready to take off higher than ever. The abilities that God has favored you with will sparkle splendidly as you step into your motivation. Entryways of advancement, acknowledgement, and achievement will open wide, permitting you to have a significant effect in your picked field. Ultimately, we should discuss your well-being. God maintains that you should flourish in each part of your being. He will carry recuperating to any infirmities or battles you might confront. Your body will be restored, your brain will find a sense of contentment, and your soul will be loaded up with imperativeness. So my dear companion, as we wrap up this strong message, I believe you should ponder the staggering favors that God and Jesus have available for you. Embrace them with great affection, trust in their heavenly arrangement, and watch as your life changes before your eyes. Keep in mind, this is a defining moment for you. A major positive shift is coming in your funds, connections, vocation, and well-being. The holy messengers are looking after you, and God's affection and direction will lead you constantly. Trust in yourself, have faith in God's commitments, and prepare to embrace the plentiful life that looks for you. You are adored, treasured, and bound to exceed all expectations sooner or later. My dear companions, may God's favors flood in your life. Remain solid, remain dedicated, and continue to sparkle brilliantly. The universe has an approach to sorting out things for us. It has a heavenly arrangement to eliminate harmfulness from our lives and make ready for something lovely. Pause for a minute to take in that reality, the negative energy, the harmful connections, and the difficult circumstances that have been burdening you are being lifted away. Yet, that is not all, old buddy. As the universe gathers up the poisonousness, it makes space for overflow to stream into your life. Indeed, I'm discussing cash. Monetary favors are en route to you. Accept it with everything that is in you, since overflow is your inheritance. Trust simultaneously, and watch as any open doors for thriving unfurl before your eyes. Love, gracious sweet love, it's coming your direction, my darling. The universe realizes that you should be encircled by authentic love and warmth. Whether it's a better half or profound fellowships, love will track down its direction into your life. Hold nothing back from get it, for affection is a strong power that can recuperate and elevate us like nothing else. In all of this, recollect the presence of our Master Jesus Christ. He is generally close by, directing you through each step of your excursion. His affection exceeds all logical limitations, and his gifts are bountiful. Similarly, as the Book of Scripture section says, "For I know the plans I have for you," proclaims the ruler, "plans to flourish you and not to hurt you, plans to give you trust and a future." Could you at any point feel it? The satisfaction that looks for you is past anything you've at any point experienced. The expulsion of harmfulness, the convergence of catch, and the appearance of affection are all essential for an excellent arrangement planned only for you. Embrace it with great affection, my dear kid, for you are meriting every one of the favors that are coming your direction. Keep in mind, old buddy, to have confidence in the universe's arrangement for your life. Trust all the while, remain positive, and keep your heart open to get the overflow that is coming your direction. Also, consistently recollect the affection and direction of our Master Jesus Christ. You are never alone on this excursion. Assuming this message impacted you, remember to hit that buy in button beneath for additional elevating messages like this one. Together, we can spread inspiration and rouse others to embrace the favors that look for them. Dear child, I have a directive for you today that comes directly from the core of God. As you might be aware, the universe is continually changing and moving, and the present moment, it is adjusting all circumstances in your day-to-day existence for something really staggering. Prepare, in light of the fact that another time of favors is en route to you. At this time, I maintain that you should take a full breath and feel the presence of our Master Jesus, encompassing you. He is here with you, directing you through each step of your excursion. His adoration for you has no limits, and he needs just to see you flourish and succeed. My dear child, the Holy Book is loaded up with stanzas that help us to remember God's resolute love and his longing to richly favor us. One such refrain that strikes a chord is Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you," proclaims the Master. Plans to succeed you and not to hurt you. Plans to give you trust and a future. Isn't that a strong message? It's an update that regardless of what conditions you might be confronting at present, God has an arrangement for your life. He has endowments available for you that are beyond anything you could ever imagine. So don't lose trust or surrender, all things considered. Trust in His heavenly timing and accept that He is resolving everything for your benefit. You may be considering how each of this ties into the evolving universe. Indeed, old buddy, the universe is unpredictably associated with our lives. It answers our contemplations, goals, and vibrations. At the point when we conform to the positive energy of God's affection and His commitments, we make a strong, gradually expanding influence that draws in endowments and wonders into our lives. Thus, as you step into this new time of endowments, I urge you to open your heart and psyche to the boundless conceivable outcomes that lie ahead. Relinquish any questions or fears, and on second thought, embrace the certainty and amazing skill that comes from realizing that God is your ally. Keep in mind, my dear kid, you are in good company in this excursion. Our Master Jesus is strolling next to you constantly, so trust in Him. Look for His direction through supplication and contemplation, and permit His affection to make you exuberantly pleased with appreciation and bliss. As we close this message, I believe you should pause for a minute to consider the extraordinary force of God's adoration and the favors that are coming your direction. Trust in His heavenly arrangement, have confidence in His commitments, and realize that the universe is planning in support of yourself. I put stock in you, my dear child. I put stock in the staggering things that look for you, so prepare, remain confident, and keep your eyes open for the wonders that are going to unfurl. My dear child, I believe you should realize that God loves you genuinely. The fact that it outperforms all understanding makes His veneration so immense and profound. According to in the book of John, part 3, section 16, For God so cherished the world that He gave His solitary child, that whoever has faith in Him will not die yet have everlasting life. Let this reality sink profound into your spirit. Presently, we should discuss our ruler Jesus Christ. He is our definitive illustration of how to carry on with a daily existence that mirrors God's personality. Jesus was intense, bold, and brave when it came to defending truth and equity. However, He stayed unassuming, kind, and delicate in His cooperations with others. At the point when we endeavor to turn out to be more similar to Jesus, we free ourselves up to get unbelievable endowments from God. He vows to direct us, safeguard us, and accommodate us. In Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you," proclaims the ruler, "plans to flourish you and not to hurt you, plans to give you trust and a future." As we fill in our confidence and become more like Jesus, offering the uplifting news to others, significant. The delight that comes from realizing God's affection is too perfect to even consider minding our own business whenever the open door emerges. How about we share our confidence with real bliss, spreading trust and love to everyone around us? Keep in mind, my dear companions, that the universe is continually sending us messages. It ultimately depends on us to open our hearts and brains to get them. At the point when we fall in line with God's personality, we become more receptive to His direction and course in our lives. Thus, how about we make this request our own? Dear God, make us more like You. Eliminate any way of behaving or figured designs that don't mirror Your personality or heart for individuals. Make us striking, daring, and gutsy, yet keep us modest, kind, and delicate. May the manner in which we live mirror Your expectation and love. Furthermore, whenever the open door emerges, assist us with offering our confidence to veritable satisfaction. My dear child, I believe you should realize that God is dependably with you. Regardless of what challenges you might be confronting, find comfort in the way that He is right next to you, directing and safeguarding you constantly. According to in the book of Joshua, part 1, section 9, Be solid and brave. Try not to be apprehensive, be encouraged. For the ruler your God will be with you any place you go. These words hold gigantic power and advise us that we are rarely alone. At the point when we confide in God's presence, we can discover a sense of harmony in the midst of life's tempests. Very much like a boat cruising through difficult situations, we can explore through testing encounters, realizing that God is our anchor. Pause for a minute every day to interface with the ruler. Spill your guts to Him and tune in for His delicate murmurs. He yearns to have an individual relationship with you, offering direction and solace in the midst of hardship. The book of scriptures is loaded up with messages from God that furnish us with intelligence and strength. Each stanza holds a valuable truth that can change our lives, assuming that we require some investment to comprehend and apply it genuinely. God's favors are plentiful and spilling over. At the point when we hold nothing back from Him, He spills out His affection upon us. These endowments might come in different structures: a thoughtful word from a more bizarre, surprising open doors, or even a feeling of harmony during troublesome times. The actual universe is a demonstration of God's brilliance and love. Gaze toward the stars and wonder about the limitlessness of His creation. It is an update that His power exceeds all logical limitations, and He is continuously looking after us. Thus, my dear companion, recollect that you are rarely alone. God is with you, directing your means and shielding you from hurt. Trust in His presence. Look for His insight in the sacred texts, and hold nothing back from except His favors. May you track down strength, mental fortitude, and harmony in the hug of our ruler Jesus Christ. Dear God, my expectation is all in you. You are all I want. Much obliged to you for being my defender and my wellspring of solidarity. My dear child, I believe you should realize that you are rarely alone. The Master Jesus is generally close by, prepared to direct you through each step of your excursion. In the midst of uncertainty and vulnerability, recall the words from the Holy Book stanza Psalm 46:10, which says, "Stay composed and realize that I am God." These strong words remind us to confide in His heavenly arrangement and track down comfort in His presence. God's message isn't restricted to the pages of the book of scriptures. It reverberates all through the universe, addressing our hearts in different ways. Pause for a minute to see the value in the magnificence around you. The lively shades of a nightfall, the delicate murmurs of the breeze, or the complex examples of a sprouting blossom. These are tokens of God's gifts and His steady love for us. When confronted with difficulties, neglecting to focus on our purpose can be simple. In any case, recollect, my dear kid, that God has called you for a particular explanation. He has furnished you with the strength and mental fortitude expected to conquer any hindrance. Look for His insight while deciding, for He understands what lies ahead. Precepts 3-5-6 reminds us to entrust in the ruler with everything that is in us and lean not on our own comprehension. In doing as such, we welcome His heavenly direction into our lives. As you stroll on this way that God has set before you, have confidence that He will fill you with harmony. Permit His presence to quiet your tensions and award you the tranquility expected to satisfy your motivation. Taking everything into account, my dear companion, consistently recollect that God's message is one of affection, trust, and direction. He is our everlasting wellspring of solidarity and insurance. Trust in Him, look for His insight, and embrace the endowments He gives to you. My dear child, I need to impart a strong message to you today. It's a message from God, our caring Dad, and His child, our Master Jesus Christ. I accept that everything occurs which is as it should be, that reason causes change, here and there it harms, and in some cases it's hard. However, eventually, it's everything for something good. God has an arrangement for all of us. He knows our past, present, and future. He sees the master plan that we frequently neglect to see. So in any event, when life gets extreme, trust constantly God and putting stock in His arrangement. The book of scriptures is loaded up with stanzas that help us to remember God's adoration and His ideal arrangement for us. In Jeremiah 29-11, It says, "For I know the plans I have for you," proclaims the Master, "plans to thrive you and not to hurt you, plans to give you trust and a future." Isn't it encouraging to realize that God has our well-being on a basic level? He believes that us should prosper and prevail throughout everyday life. He needs to richly favor us. However, we should have confidence in Him. Simply pause for a minute to check out at the endlessness of the universe, the stars, the cosmic systems. They all help us to remember God's boundless power and shrewdness. He made this brilliant universe, and He made you with a reason. Regardless of what difficulties or deterrents come your direction, recollect that God is generally with you. He will direct you through each tempest and lead you towards the light. His adoration is steadfast. His effortlessness is limitless. I need to urge you today to never lose trust. Indeed, even in the most obscure of times, recall that God's arrangement is unfurling, and it's everything for something good. Trust in Him, rest on Him, and look for His direction through supplication and contemplation. Hold nothing back from accept God's gifts. Allow His adoration to fill your spirit and bring you harmony. Permit His arrangement to unfurl in your life, realizing that He is something uncommon coming up for you. Keep in mind, my dear kid, each experience you go through is a venturing stone towards a more promising time to come. Embrace the excursion, for God is close by constantly. May God favor you plentifully, and may you track down solace and strength in His arrangement for your life. Trust Him, put stock in Him, and seek constantly His direction. My dear child, today I need to help you to remember for strong insights that God believes you should clutch. These words are vacant commitments, as well as heavenly confirmations from our ruler Jesus Himself. Thus, we should plunge into His message together. God, most importantly, needs you to realize that He will clear a path for you. Amidst life's difficulties and vulnerabilities, it's not difficult to feel lost and overpowered. In any case, recollect, similar God who separated the Red Ocean for the Israelites is currently working in your life today. He is the seasoned veteran at transforming difficulties into supernatural occurrences. Trust in His capacity to clear a way for you in any event when it appears to be unthinkable. Then, comprehend that God is taking on your conflicts. Life can frequently feel like a continuous fight, with battles and hindrances every step of the way. Yet, cheer up, for you are in good company in this battle. The Master is your powerful champion, and He battles for your sake. At the point when you feel frail, call out upon Him and allow Him to be your solidarity. Recall that triumph is as of now yours through Jesus Christ. Additionally, God vows to accommodate you in a world loaded up with stresses over funds, connections, and day-to-day needs. Neglecting to focus on God's bountiful provision is simple. In any case, recollect that He is a definitive supplier. Similarly, as He took care of thousands with a couple of portions and fishes, He will address your issues as indicated by His magnificent wealth. Trust in His arrangement and be thankful for the favors He offers to you. In conclusion, trust in God's timing. In a quick-moving existence where moment delight is the standard, holding up can challenge. Yet, God's timing is great, and He realizes what is best for you. Recall that His arrangements are far more noteworthy than whatever you might envision. Thus, be patient and have confidence that He is working in the background, organizing everything for your benefit. My dear companion, as we close this message, let these four insights resound profound inside your heart. God will clear a path for you, take on your conflicts, accommodate you, and guide you in His amazing luck. Trust in His commitments, for they are resolute and valid. My dear child, I realize that occasionally the distress for change consumes your understanding. I know that now and again, the throb in your heart feels certain and constant. However, in those minutes, I maintain that you should stop briefly, take a full breath, and be deliberate about your relaxing. Take a walk, my dear kid. Allow your feet to direct you as you submerge yourself in the excellence of God's creation. As you walk, pause for a minute to look and hear the birds sing, to understand the mind-boggling plan of the trees, and to respect the consistently changing material of the sky and mists above. At these times, my dear youngster, let God's creation support and reinforce your tired heart. Recollect that similarly as God made the gloriousness of what we see in only 6 days, He has the ability to change what inconveniences you in a moment. Never lose trust, for there is a message from God that reverberates through the universe. In 2 Corinthians 5-7, it says to live with conviction and by feeling things out. This refrain is the encapsulation of our excursion with God, notwithstanding what we see or feel. We should walk this existence with Him, trusting and accepting that our confidence in Him will own us to the guaranteed land. My dear youngster, recollect the gifts that Master Jesus has presented to us. His adoration is unlimited, and His effortlessness is limitless. In the midst of gloom, go to Him and track down comfort in His hug. Have confidence, my dear youngster. Believe that God's arrangement for you is more prominent than anything you can envision. Indeed, even in the haziest of times, His light will direct you towards a more brilliant tomorrow. In this way, my dear kid, as you explore through life's difficulties, make sure to live with conviction and by focusing on the subtle. Trust in the message that God and Master Jesus have for you. Embrace their favors, for inside them lies the ability to change your life. My dear child, today I need to converse with you about something really significant, the desire of God for our lives. So frequently, we end up endeavoring to sort out everything about looking for answers and direction. However, consider the possibility that I let you know that as opposed to zeroing in on the particulars, we ought to ask a basic petition. Master, assist me with turning into the individual you had as a main priority when you made me. My companions, God's will isn't some mind-boggling puzzle that we want to tackle. It's anything but a rundown of errands or a point-by-point schedule for our lives. His will is considerably more lovely and groundbreaking than that. It is tied in with turning into the individual He planned us to be, satisfying our motivation and carrying on with a day-to-day existence that carries brilliance to Him. In the Holy Book, we find endless refrains that help us to remember God's message to us. One such stanza is Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you," pronounces the ruler, plans to succeed you and not to hurt you, plans to give you trust and a future. This refrain consoles us that God has an arrangement for every single one of us, an arrangement that is loaded up with endowments and goodness. Be that as it may, how would we take advantage of this arrangement? How would we fall in line with God's will? It starts with confidence. Confidence in the Master Jesus Christ as our rescuer and the person who directs our means. At the point when we give our lives over to Him, and confidence in His ideal love and shrewdness, we free ourselves up to accept His endowments. Keep in mind, my dear companion, that God's message isn't restricted by time or space. It rises above the limits of this universe. His affection and direction are generally accessible to us on the off chance that we look for Him with a genuine heart. Along these lines, let us ask together, Looking for God's will for our lives, allow us to request that He form us into the individual He had as a primary concern when He made us. Allow us to believe that His arrangement is awesome and that He will direct us constantly.